Hello pilots and welcome back to Flying with Overkill F-16C Viper, and today we're going to be talking about how to enter and edit waypoints into the nav computer. Last time we showed you how to start up, taxi, and take off the aircraft. Well, now that you're airborne, let's show you how to get around and get to where you actually want to go. Today we're just going to do waypoints, and then in the next one we'll take a look at TACAN and ILS landing. Alright, so I will see you guys in the cockpit. All right, so also in today we'll be going over the stored heading INS alignment process, which is a little bit faster. First, go ahead and start the aircraft. I'm going to make this one go a little bit faster than last time, so stay with me here. First thing we're going to do is switch our power switch into the battery position. Then we're going to come up here and set our parking brake. Make sure we don't go anywhere once we get rolling. All right. Now the power brake is, or the parking brake is set. We're going to set our JFS down to the start to position. Wait for our run light. Once we get a run light, we'll monitor the engine RPMs. All right, so we got a green light coming over here, watching our RPMs, looking for 20%. There it is, bringing our throttle out of the cutoff position to the idle with right shift and home if you don't have it mapped. Now looking for 65%. While the engine's powering up, we'll go ahead and set our lights over here to the norm position. Set our anti-collision light so you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 positions on anti-collision. This indicates what position you are in the group that you're flying. We're going to go ahead and leave it on 1 as nobody else flying with us, but for example, if we were flight number 2, we would set it to the 2 position, and the anti-collision light will blink twice in between sequences, indicating where we are in the group. Alright, so you can see now we are stabilized at 65%. Our JFS has automatically turned off, and our engine temperature, or inlet temperature, excuse me, is now at about 400 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and take our power switch and flip it into main power. Brings our lights and everything up to life. We'll swing over here to the right and start turning our systems on. We have our main mission computer, our station stores power, our MFDs, UFC, and the GPS, which brings us to our alignment. We're going to go to stored alignment this time. You still want to verify your coordinates, so we're going to go ahead and go to the F10 map very quickly, select our aircraft, get off the map view because it drives me crazy, and you want to make sure you are in precise waypoint, so that's going to be degrees, minutes, and decimal minutes. And we're looking for 4155.7, 4152.1. So 4155.7, 4152.1, we are good. Let's go and enter, hit dauber down, hit enter again. Coordinates are verified. And now what we're doing is we're just going to be waiting for a 1-0 ready up here on the alignment instead of the 0-6. While everything else is going on, you can see that our EHSI is actually pretty dark. So if you watch, I'm going to left click on this rotary. You can see this little flag come up. While that flag is active, you can scroll up and increase the brightness, okay? And you can see it says BRT is what that flag actually says. All right, and then when it goes out, you don't want to use it anymore because it will change the course heading, which we'll go over later. All right. Coming up to the right hand side here, we want to set our radar altimeter to standby, our fire control radar to the on position. We can come over here to our IFF, set it to norm. Come down over here and turn on our RWR. Set our countermeasure system into standby. Activate the RWR countermeasure system and the jammer system. Bring up our chaff and flare. These are for the external store, so we're not going to worry about them. And I think we are just about ready. We're just waiting for alignment time, which is almost done. There it is. So there's the 10 ready that I was talking about. So we are aligned and ready to roll. Now the difference between stored alignment and normal alignment is the stored alignment, the alignment quality as you fly around will degrade faster than in normal. But as a caveat to that, I flew around for about 2.5 hours the other day and didn't notice any impact. So, you know, it is what it is. But let's go ahead and rotate the INS rotary over to nav. There, we're locked and loaded, ready to go there. Give our master caution a tap. Come down here and tap the caution reset. And that should clear that. Now we do have fuel bags on board, so we're going to go ahead and make sure we set for a Cat 3 takeoff. Cat 3 will inhibit the aircraft's responses to make sure we don't put too much stress on the wings and make sure that we can't over-G the aircraft during takeoff and essentially put us into a stall and hit the ground like a burning pile of you-know-what. We're going to go ahead and flip our radio on. You can set to main or both, your preference. COM 1, COM 2 already set. Everything set for squelch. So we're good there. You adjust your volumes as desired. One little trick, if you get tired of Little Miss low altitude warning, you can come here and go to where it says voice message and set that down to inhibit. You'll still get the brake X's that pop up on the MFDs, but you'll no longer get the audible voice message in your ear. All right, so that makes that kind of easy. And I think we are just about ready for that portion. Let's go ahead and drop the canopy. Hopefully this hasn't been too loud for you guys. So canopy coming down. Locked. Let's go ahead and put the spider lock down. There we go. We are safe and secure inside the jet. Pitot heat, we'll wait until we get to the runway. Same with the ejection seat. We obviously don't want to arm it while we're inside a freaking hangar. All right, and I think we are just about set. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about, let's give our HUD a wheel. Give our HUD a wheel. Give our HUD wheel a spin, bringing the brightness up on it. And now let's start taking a look at how to enter coordinates. Now you start in the INS page, but this is not the correct page in order to edit the waypoint. So this is for the alignment, is all this is for. So what we need to do in order to set our own waypoints, first thing is we're going to come over here to our dauber and go to the return, which brings us to the main CNI page. Okay, so now that we're on the CNI page, we're going to go ahead and now press steer point again, which brings us to the same page, but notice the latitude and longitude and everything is now zeroed out. Waypoint 1, my preference, I always start with my starting location, okay? But I don't want to put the aircraft's physical location. I want to use the runway location. How we're going to do that is we're going to go to our F10 map here again. And we're going to come here to Kobaletti and just box it. And you can see now this can be set in the system settings how you want your coordinates to display. I have precise waypoint selected. But you can see we have 4155 and the decimal 926. This is what we want for the F-16. Now, I will be using a mod that I'm going to show you guys that's pretty cool. So first thing is you want to hit Control Shift and X, and this brings up a notepad. Now, I'm recording on a monitor right now, okay? So this is a fantastic mod for either the monitor or VR, and once you click in it, you're no longer clicked off screen, okay? But what's really nice about it is you can come in here, and now we're just going to type all this information in. So all you have to do is click on the box. Don't worry about looking for a cursor. Just start typing. So we're going to go north 4155 decimal 9. Don't need the asterisk. 926. And let's grab our easting. Now I'm going to put this in the way that the F-16 wants it to be read. In the F-16, the easting digits are 3 digits, whether you have 3 or not. If you don't have 3 digits, then you just start with a 0. So in this case, it's going to be 04152 decimal 589. And then I want to throw my elevation in there, and I'm just hitting enter, 59 feet. Okay, so that's going to be our first waypoint. Let's go ahead and find the next one here, so that way we don't have to keep bouncing back and forth. Now I'm going to show you guys something that's really cool for the second one. So let's use the FARP. Okay, let's use FARP alpha here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the circle, and I'm going to make a mark point. And I'm just going to drop it right there in the center of it. Now watch. Now this particular method only works in single player mode. Okay, this will not work in multiplayer, but in single player you can tap that, thunk, and there you go. Now the drag to that is, if you can see, it doesn't put the coordinates in the condition that we need, but I just wanted to show you guys that as a neat trick for using this mod, and there will be a link for this in the description below. It's called the DCS Scratchpad. It's really awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clear that back out because it doesn't work for what we're doing today, but I thought that you guys might find that kind of handy. And again, that method only works in single player. All right, so what we're going to do is find an object. Let's go ahead and click on this guy here. He'll work. All right, and you can see we're still in the correct format. So we're going to start typing again. North 4157 decimal 142. Easting, remember starting with a 04208 decimal 691. And then get our elevation in there. Always enter your elevation whenever possible, especially in the F-16. I'll show you why when we get up. Okay, and let's go to... We probably won't fly all the way out there, but we'll go ahead and throw Fart Bravo in there as well. Maybe I'll cut the video so you guys can at least see what it looks like. It's kind of fun flying over these. All right, so same thing here. We're going to come down here and north 4210-15 or .150. Easting again, starting with a 04307 decimal 936 with an elevation of 1755 feet. Okay, now if you don't have objects to click on, this is where it sort of does come a little trickier. Okay, is you can just put your mouse over location. Look up here and you'll get all the same information wherever the mouse is currently laying. Okay, so you can sort of do that. And I can't remember if you can... Nope. But you know what you can do is this. This will work. So if you have it right here, just simply move in here and notice that as long as you're in this box, this stops. So you can drag it to your location, okay, to make this easy, because you can't Alt-Tab or anything. So drag it very near where you want to create your waypoint. Put your mouse over that point, and then bring your mouse in, okay? And that'll obviously get you more than close enough, right? So just a couple neat tricks there, but there we go. And so now I can either do Control-Shift-X and clears that, but then when I bring it back up, that information is still there. Or from this screen, we can just go to F1, and now we have it available to us. So you want to sort of keep it out of the way, because I've noticed it's a little sensitive and goofy sometimes when it's up here. And hopefully this mod continues to work, but I guess there's always the possibility that it may break one day. But anyway, so we have steer point 1 selected. If we want to change the steer point, we would use our rocker switch, but we want to adjust steer 1. So we're going to use our dauber down, come down to the latitude, and just start typing our first coordinates here. So we're going to do, let's see here, 2 for north, 4155926, and press enter, and go ahead and dauber down. And now we're going to do the easting, and remember it starts with the 0, 4152589, press enter. And you can see the little dot that appeared right there where our aircraft is, which is good. And we can zoom that down a little bit. And you can see it's right in front of us. That lets us know where this waypoint is at the threshold of the active runway. Maybe not necessarily the active runway, because I know there are situations where it can change. But I know what it shows you on the map is the threshold of a particular runway. Okay? So, anyway, daubering down again. Let's set our elevation. And it's at 59 feet, and just hit enter. And the TOS would be time on steer point, so much similar to time on target, which we'll go through at a much later time here. But this is if you need to be at a specific waypoint at a specific time. It helps you adjust your throttle and your airspeed to make sure that you arrive when you're supposed to arrive. Okay, so steer 1 is done. So now let's go ahead and use our rocker here on the UFC to select steer 2. And same process, dauber down until we get back onto our latitude. 2 for north. Okay, and we're going to do 4157142, enter, dauber down, easting 0, 4208691, enter. Okay, you can see a course line now appeared on the MFD, elevation of 752 feet. Enter again. Let's move up to steer 3. Same thing. We'll dauber up. Go back to latitude. And again, starting with 2 north. 4210. I don't know why I did it like that. And then decimal 150. Going to be enter. Dauber down. All right, and set the latitude or longitude, excuse me. And we're going to go easting 0, 4307936, enter, and elevation for this one is 1755 feet. All right, and bam, and there's our waypoints. Now we can just hit Control-Shift-X to get rid of our notepad, and obviously any text pad will work, so I mean, however you guys want to do it. And I just noticed we forgot to bring up our standby ADI, so let's bring that up. Okay. All right, and we are now ready for taxi. Let's go ahead. Now you can see we're set to steer 3. Now the other thing I want to show you guys is we rock her down. We want to select steer 1. Okay, we can rock her to the left and go back to the main page if we want. But there's one other option. So let's go back to steer point. You can see where it says manual. This means that we must manually advance the waypoints to the desired location. However, if we do a dauber right where it says sequence, you can see this now goes to auto. And what auto will do is as the aircraft flies through the desired or currently selected waypoint, it will automatically advance to the next waypoint in the sequence. Okay. Once it passes through all sequences currently aligned, so for example, waypoint 3 is our last waypoint, it will automatically return to waypoint 1. Okay, indicating that we would probably want to go back home. All right, so kind of some cool features. So I'll tell you what's next, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get us airborne, and I will see you in just a moment. All right, guys, so we are holding short of runway 07. Parking brake is engaged. Let's go ahead and set our pitot heat to on. Arm the ejection seat here. Set our radar altimeter to the forward position to activate. That way it comes on when weight is off wheels. And other than that, I think we are ready to roll. So let's go ahead and get taxied out. Remember the deal, how this all works is, after we disengage our parking brake, is we're going to center line with the runway. We're going to power up to 90% with feet on the brakes. Once we've confirmed feet on brakes, this will be a max power takeoff since we're in a Cat 3 configuration because we have the wing tanks on. Remember, Cat 3 is wing fuel tanks or air-to-ground heavy configuration anytime the aircraft is heavy. Okay, and the purpose of that, once again, is to make sure that we inhibit the controls of the aircraft so we don't do anything dumb on takeoff or while flying around, basically overging the aircraft and tearing something off. So I'm going to power up to 90%. Once the wheel's off, I'm going to go to max power. Airspeed alive at about 63 knots at 70 knots. Disengage nose wheel steering. We'll be rotating at about 150 knots, looking for 173, 174 knots of wheels up. Once we get positive rate, I'm going to bring the gear up, and we'll be airborne and off to travel the universe here. All right, so here we go. There's 90. Brakes off, going into mill power first, make sure we stabilize, looking good. Max power, light in the back end. Airspeed alive, nose wheel steering disengaged, looking for 150 knots. At 150 knots, we'll start pulling back. There's the pullback. Positive rate of climb, wheels up, looking for 8 to 10 degrees of climb out. Looking for 350 knots on the airspeed. Going to start pulling off the throttle here as we get close. And ladies and gentlemen, we are clear to navigate to steer 2. So let's talk for a second. Pausing for a minute, bringing us in here. Locking the camera. So the first thing we have is this is our waypoint indicator. You can see that the little tadpole here, the tadpole tail indicates the direction to the steer point from our current heading. Okay, and then the objective here is to fly the flight path marker directly over the waypoint marker. Okay, you also have a diamond here indicating the waypoint's position on the map of the Earth out here on the HUD. Anytime it has an X to the diamond, that means the actual location is off the HUD's field of view. So once we get onto the waypoint, you'll see that the tadpole will be inside the flight path indicator, and this guy will be directly below it, indicating its exact position on the map, on the terrain itself, which is really awesome. You'll see that in a second. Coming over to the right side of the HUD, we have our current altimeter setting, which I'll show you guys how to change that in a later video, but basically this is how we get that screaming alert once our radar altimeter detects that we're below 500 feet from the surface of the Earth. It will start yelling at us. Here we have our slant range to target. Okay, so our selected waypoint is 11.1 nautical miles. Now let's talk about the difference between range and slant range. All right, so I'm going to come off of the HUD. That way you guys don't get confused by the terrain because it has nothing to do with what I'm about to show you. So let's say that this is all flat ground right here. 4, 5, 6, all flat ground. Okay, just imagine an imaginary line right here. Okay, so 4, 5, 6 as flat ground, and we are over here. Standard range, okay, would be the distance from this point to this point on a flat surface. Slant range would be if this is our waypoint and we are up here at 10,000 feet is the distance from here to here. So it takes both distance and altitude and does the geometry between the two. So basically gives you your angle off, right? So by using the angle, you can judge what the extended distance is. The distance from here to here, okay, is further than here to here because we're not traveling in a straight line, right? We're also having to descend. So that vertical distance is calculated as well when we're talking slant range versus range. So it's important to understand the difference. And the reason why is because directly beneath it, we have our time until waypoint. So we're estimated at 1 minute, 46 seconds till we arrive. But you can see that we're showing 11 miles here to waypoint 2. And 11.1 is our current slant range because of our altitude is only 1,400 feet. But as we got higher, our slant range would be significantly higher than our standard range. All right, so unpausing, bringing our camera back to the standard position here, unlocking my head tracker here, and let's start turning target so we can see what this looks like. So I'm going to start steering on over here. And there we go. I'm going to bring it right on here. All right. So pausing one more time, zooming on in. You guys can see what I'm talking about now. Oh, pause. Thank you. So we had our flight path or waypoint indicator right on top of our flight path indicator, and you guys saw that the X and the diamond went out once it was visible inside the HUD. So let's go ahead and unpause again because that really screwed me up. We're going to descend a little bit. All right, and actually we can descend a lot a bit because we're going to be flying over a FARP, so it'd be kind of cool if we actually get to see it, right? All right, and this is ideally how you should be flying when referencing a waypoint on your HUD. Now, pausing for just a second, let's come on down. Why is my head locked again? There we go. Let's go ahead and talk about the EHSI for just a moment. First off, you can see the blue arrow up top and the tail on the back. This indicates the heading to the waypoint. This little white line up here is the heading or forward heading of the aircraft. You can see our distance to the waypoint is currently set at 4.9 nautical miles. All right, this is the course line, which we'll talk about when we start getting into TACAN navigation, so ignore this for now, please. Referencing waypoints, you're only interested in this one and this one. This is our reciprocal course heading or the bearing from waypoint. If someone asked what's your bearing to waypoint 2, we would tell them about 250 degrees, okay? If someone asked what waypoint 2's bearing from us is, we would say about 070 degrees, okay? So it's important to understand the difference. You have bearing from, okay, which is going to be this one. Bearing to is this one. All right. So anyway, got that covered there. Let's go ahead and unpause and check out a nice pretty FARP on a beautiful sunrise. I'm really glad I get to share this moment with you guys. Got a beautiful sunset or sunrise coming up. Flying a nice fighter jet at 440 knots. I mean, what more could you ask for? Buddies, weapons, aircraft, fighters, low passes over FARPs and air bases. You know, just perfect date if you ask me. I'm glad you guys said yes. Alright, so we'll just give it a quick rip around the corner here. There we go. There's FARP Alpha for the mission that we've been building, and Let's Build a Mission. If you guys are interested, please check out those videos. They're actually kind of a lot of fun. Alright, so I'll tell you what you guys I'm going to do here is that you can see that we have automatically switched over to waypoint 3 because we're in the auto mode, and we just flew through the waypoint. So let's do the same thing again. We're going to steer us on point. You can see our diamond appearing, and boop. Let's get her where she needs to be. Close enough there. All right. So go ahead and lock her down there, and I'll stop the video here for just a second and get you guys back with me as we fly over the FARP. But just for the record, you can see our slant range is 39.4 nautical miles. Current range is 39 miles to waypoint 3. Estimated time of arrival is 3 minutes 59 seconds. And I'll see you guys when that time expires. All right, guys, so we are now approaching waypoint 3, which is going to be FARP Alpha. Again, for anyone who's been following the Let's Build a Mission, you know some cool stuff's going to be happening out here as well. And in the next Let's Build a Mission, by the way, for those of you who've been watching that, I will make sure to get a copy of the mission's current state back up on the Google Drive. I know I've been slacking on that. All right, but let's take a quick peek at FARP Bravo. Give her a rip. Cool stuff happening out here. All right, so, and you can also see, oh, I took it out of manual mode. Oh, there you go, just cycled on its own. I didn't do that. Cool, didn't get a chance to click. All right, so we are now on our way back to Steer 3, or Steer 1, excuse me. Now I want to show you guys something that's kind of cool here with the autopilot first before we get rolling. I'm going to go ahead and climb some altitude here. Let's get to about 6,000, and I'll give you guys a quick spin of the autopilot. It's pretty simple. Alright guys, so real quick before we wrap up here today, I want to show you guys a real quick rundown of the autopilot. It's got some pretty cool features that I think you'll find pretty fun. So I'm going to put this into active pause for just a second and zoom on into it. So first thing, you have two steps that you have to complete before the autopilot will engage. You have to select the roll configuration and the pitch configuration. So you have to tell it what do you want to do with the elevators and what do you want to do with the wings, the ailerons. Okay, so you have heading select. Heading select is determined by the HSI, and it's this little yellow bug right here. Okay, and you can move it with this wheel here on the left. Okay, so wherever this guy's pointed, that's what's going to determine the heading select. Then you have steering select, which uses the currently selected steer point. Okay. Then you have attitude hold, which attitude hold down here on the bottom. If you're in a 5-degree climb, for example, okay, this 5-degree being seriously an example, and you want to maintain that, but you want the autopilot to engage. Okay, you would select either heading select or attitude hold. By the way, you can see, sorry, same thing with the roll. This is attitude hold by its default position. Okay, so if you don't want the wings, if you don't want it to be on a steering, you don't want it to be on a heading select, you just want to maintain your current, whatever your current pitch is, or roll is, you just leave it in the center position and you would just set the altitude hold. So for example, let's go ahead and walk through this for a second. So pausing, oops, wrong pause. So in this case, let's say I want to descend a little bit at a 3-degree descent, but I don't want to keep my hands on the stick. Okay, so at this point, I would just take I don't want it to turn. I want the aircraft to stay on my current heading. So I would just flip the switch down to the attitude hold, and now it's going to stay there. Okay, no matter what, it's going to maintain this particular pitch angle. If I want to maintain my altitude, okay, I don't want it to turn left or right. I just want it to maintain my current altitude. I'd flip the switch up into the top position to altitude hold. Okay, now here's where this gets fun. If I want to set a desired heading, so for example, we're sitting at about 238 degrees. Let's say I wanted to go to 200. Okay, so what I can do here, and you can do this while it's active or beforehand. So let's come down here and put it roughly 200-ish. Okay. And then what we do is just hit heading select. Go right click up. And the aircraft will now steer itself to the desired heading until the heading bug reaches the center line for the aircraft. So you can speed things up a little bit here. Okay, so there we go. And there we are, 1907. And then you can also adjust it on the fly. So without changing the autopilot configuration, I can just turn it and she'll start rotating one way or the other for that fine tuning. Now, if I wanted to say screw it and go directly to one of my waypoints, so right now we have steer 1 selected, even while the autopilot is engaged, I can just left click and left click again, and it's going to automatically steer us onto steer 1. So let's fast forward a bit here. And there you go, without any input from me. And you can change the waypoint on the fly. So if we want to go steer 2, off we go. Okay, back to steer 1. All right. So anyways, I thought you guys would enjoy that, and stand by for the next course and where we'll go over TACAN and ILS. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful week, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So stay tuned. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you're interested in joining our wing, we are absolutely a training squadron. I would go ahead and tell you to go to vcw13.com and check us out. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.